Once upon a time, in the capital city of a Chinese kingdom, very rich and large, but I can and number 39. Remember his name, there was a tailor named Mustafa, whose characteristics were nothing more than his professional demeanor. Mustafa was very poor, his work was barely enough for him, his wife and a son given to him by God. The son, Aladdin, was raised very carelessly, so he was exposed to bad tendencies, mischief, stubbornness, and disobedience to his parents. When he grew up a little, his parents could not keep him with them. He left the house early in the morning and roamed the streets in public places all day, with street children even younger than him. At the age when he had to learn a trade, his father could not find a job for him other than his own, so he took his son to the shop to practice sewing. But despite being sweet and threatening, the father could not stop his son, and number 39's promiscuity could not force him to work hard, be diligent and focus on his work as he wanted. Mustafa turned away, and Aladdin immediately ran out and did not return all day. No matter how much Dad punished Aladdin, he could N&39 fix it. And although he regretted it, Mustafa had to leave his child alone. That hurt his heart, and the sadness of not being able to educate his children made him seriously ill and died after a few months. When Aladdin and number 39's mother saw that she did not learn her husband and number 39's trade, she closed the tailor shop and sold her husband and number 39's belongings so that her mother could live, supplementing the little wages she earned from spinning. Aladdin no longer had to be afraid of his father and was even less afraid of his mother. Even if she only scolded him a little, he threatened her, so he was free to play more and more passionately than before with other children of the same age. He continued living like that until he was 15 years old, doing nothing to expand his mind and not thinking about what he would become in the future. In that situation, one day he was playing in the open field with a group of wandering children when a stranger passed by and stopped to look at him. This person is a formidable old wizard, people call him the African wizard. Perhaps the African wizard who knew physiognomy saw in Aladdin and number 39's face what was necessary for realizing his purpose, or he cleverly probed about his family, himself and his tendencies. The old man approached the boy, pulled him a few steps away from his friends, and asked, "Hey boy, is your father the tailor Mustafa?" "Sir, that and number 39's right, but my father passed away a long time ago." Hearing that, the old African wizard hugged Aladdin and kissed him many times, tears mixed with sighs. Aladdin saw him crying and asked why. The old wizard exclaimed, "Oh, my child! How can I not cry? I am your uncle, your father is my kind brother. We have been away for many years, and when we returned with the hope of seeing you again and bringing joy back to you, you told us that Dad had died. I am very hurt because I did not get the comfort I expected. But I was also somewhat relieved to see that on your face there were his features. I felt I was not mistaken when I asked about you." He put his hand in his money bag and asked where his mother was. Aladdin answered immediately, and the old wizard gave him a handful of change and said, "Son, go back to your mother and say hello. If time allows, tomorrow I will visit her to comfort her. See where my uncle lived and passed away." As soon as the wizard left his nephew, Aladdin immediately ran back to his mother, happily wanting to show off the money he had just given him. "Mom," he asked, "do I have an uncle?" "No, "My child," the mother replied, "there are no uncles on your father and number 39's side or on my side. But I just met a man who said he came to my father and number 39's side because he is my father and number 39's younger brother." What made me believe it was because when I said, "Dad is dead," he cried and hugged me. He gave me the money and added I and number 39's telling the truth. He gave me the money, said hello to my mother, and said that if he had time tomorrow, he would visit my house and the place where my father died. "Son," the mother said again, "yes, your father had a younger brother, but he died a long time ago, and I never heard of having another younger brother." Mother and daughter said nothing more about that stranger. The next day, the wizard met Aladdin a second time, playing somewhere else in the city. The old man hugged him like last time, put 2 gold coins in his hand and said, "Son, give this back to mother and tell her that I and number 39's am coming to visit this afternoon. She and number 39's going to buy something so we can have dinner together. First, show me where your house is." He clearly stated the address and the old man let him go home. Aladdin gave 2 gold coins to his mother. Hearing about her uncle and number 39's intentions, she went to buy good food and went to a neighbor to borrow some more pots and pans. She spent the whole evening preparing dinner. And in the afternoon when the meal was ready, she told her son, "Maybe your uncle doesn't and hash 39's know our house, I and number 39's go pick him up and take him home." Even though he had pointed out his house to the African wizard, Aladdin was about to leave when he heard a knock on the door. He opened it and saw him walking in, carrying several bottles of wine and various fruits for dinner. Giving the things to old Aladdin, he greeted his mother and asked her to tell her where his brother Mustafa usually sat. As soon as she pointed to him, she knelt down and kissed that place many times, crying out in tears, "Poor brother, I and number 39's am so heartbroken that I could and hash 39's come sooner to hug and kiss you one more time before you passed away." Even though Aladdin and number 39's mother invited him many times, he still did not sit in that seat. "No," he said, "I sit across the hall so that if I Dawn and number 39's have the satisfaction of meeting my dear brother whom I respect like my own father, at least I can see him as if he were there." When he had chosen another seat, he began to talk to Aladdin and number 39's mother, "My precious sister, Dawn and number 39's be surprised to not see me during your time as Mustafa and number 39's wife. It and number 39's been 40 years since I left this country. From that day on, after traveling through India, Persia, Arabia, Syria, and Egypt through the most beautiful cities of those countries, I went to Africa and stayed there the longest. Finally, according to human nature, no matter how far away from home I am, I still remember my parents and siblings. I prepare my luggage and set out to return to my country, to hug and kiss my beloved brother while I still have the strength and courage. Take a long journey. I did not tell her about the time I struggled through the hardships to get here. Just telling her, nothing makes me more tormented and sad than the news that he has passed away, the brother I always loved with true affection. I noticed his features on his face. And that made me distinguish him from the other children playing with him. You can tell me how sad I was when I found out my brother had passed away. But I have to thank God for everything. I console myself by seeing my brother again in my son who still retains his outstanding features." The African wizard saw that his mother was heartbroken about her husband and number 39's memory, so he changed the story, turned back to Aladdin and asked his name. "I am Aladdin," he answered. "So what do you do, Aladdin? Do you know any profession?" Hearing that question, Aladdin looked down in confusion. His mother replied, "Aladdin is a lazy boy. When his father was still alive, he tried his best to teach him his profession but could not. Since he passed away, even though I reminded him every day, he didn't and #39 do anything other than work around, playing with children all day long as you saw. He didn't and #39 think he was no longer a child. If you Don and number 39 make him feel ashamed, and Don and number 39 correct him on this occasion, I will be disappointed because he will never be able to become a human being." He knew that his father had passed away and left no property behind, and he also saw that it was difficult for me to spin yarn all day long to make enough to eat. I decided that one day I would kick him out of the house and go make a living elsewhere. After the mother said that while crying, the African wizard told Aladdin, "That and number 39's not good, my child. You need to be self-reliant to make a living. There are many careers, you have to find your favorite direction. Perhaps you Don and number 39 like your father and number 39's profession and find yourself more suited to another profession. Don and number 39 hide your thoughts from me. I will find a way to help you." Seeing that Aladdin did not answer, he said, "If you are afraid of learning a trade but still want to become an honest person, I will open a beautiful fabric store. You will sell it to get money to buy more goods. That way you can buy more goods. We'll live a worthy life. Tell yourself the truth. What do you mean? I remember you always kept your promises." That help stimulated Aladdin, who did not want to do manual work and was quite knowledgeable enough to notice that such shops were clean, had many people. The salesmen were well dressed and respected. He noted to the wizard, whom he considered his uncle, that he was most inclined towards that aspect and thanked him very much for the good he intended to build for him. The old African wizard said again, "Because you like that job, I will take you with me tomorrow and dress you in clean, luxurious clothes suitable for the style of a big merchant in this city. One day we will think about opening a store like you said." Aladdin and number 39's mother still did not believe that the stranger was her brother-in-law, but now when she heard all the good things he promised to build for her son, there was no longer any doubt. She thanked him for that precious plan, advised Aladdin to try to be worthy of the good things he would help him, and then she served dinner. The conversation revolved around that issue throughout the meal until it was late. The wizard asked permission to leave. The next morning, he returned to the house of the tailor Mustafa and number 39's widow as promised, taking Aladdin with him to a store that sold ready-made clothes of all kinds of fabrics, suitable for all ages and classes. He asked to show him clothes that fit Aladdin and number 39's body size, set aside the ones he liked and then said to Aladdin, "Choose the clothes you like best among these." He was excited about his new uncle and number 39's relaxed attitude and chose a set. The wizard bought everything included and paid without haggling. When Aladdin found himself beautifully dressed from foot to head, he thanked his uncle profusely. The old wizard also promised to never leave him. In fact, He took him to the most crowded places in the city, to the most beautiful and numerous fabric shops, and told Aladdin, "Then you are about to become a merchant like the people you see, so go around with them and let them know you." He also took him to see the largest and most beautiful mosque, and leisurely entered the castle where foreign merchants temporarily stayed. After traveling together to beautiful places in the city, they came to a castle and rented an apartment. There were a number of old merchants who had met him when they first arrived, inviting them to gather to eat and drink together and introduce their half-nephew. After the party, it was just dark. Aladdin wanted to ask his uncle for permission to leave, but the wizard did not want to let him go alone and personally took him back to his mother. Seeing her son dressed so beautifully, the mother was overjoyed and thanked the uncle profusely for spending so much on her son. "You are so generous, Don and number 39. T know how to thank you for your generosity. She knows her son does not deserve the good things you give him if he does not try to meet your intention of building a stable business for him. As for me," she added, "I am extremely grateful and wish you a long life to witness your son and number 39's gratitude expressed most clearly in the way he manages the store according to his teachings." The wizard replied, "Aladdin is a good, obedient child, and I think we will do something fruitful. The only problem is that the promise cannot be fulfilled tomorrow. On Friday, all the shops are closed. The traders only have fun, so they have to leave it on Saturday. But tomorrow I will come and take my grandchild to play in the parks, where the well-off go. Perhaps he doesn't and #39 know anything about the entertainment there. So far he has only interacted with children, so he must let him meet adults." The old wizard left. Aladdin was extremely happy to be dressed in luxurious clothes, enjoying the great pleasure of walking around the city, which was so beautiful and pleasant. The next day he woke up early, dressed nicely and waited for his uncle to come and take him away. It seemed like he had been waiting for a long time. He eagerly opened the door and stood on the steps, looking forward. Seeing the old man, he informed his mother and said goodbye to her, closed the door and ran to his uncle. The old wizard saw him, caressed him and smiled and said, "Come on, dear child. Today I want to show you things that are much more magical than those wonderful castles and lush gardens." Before each castle, he asked him if he thought it was beautiful. Aladdin replied, "Uncle, this is a more beautiful building than the ones we just passed." However, they gradually moved closer and closer to the outside of the city, and the old wizard cunningly wanted to go even further to carry out his intention. Taking the opportunity to enter a garden, he sat near a large tank with water flowing from the muzzle of a black bronze lion, pretending to be tired to rest. "Dear," the old man said, "you are probably as tired as me. Let and number 39's rest for a while to regain our strength." To continue walking, he took out a bag of cakes and fruits from his belt and placed them on the edge of the pool. He divided the cakes in half and let Aladdin choose the fruits he liked. During that temporary meal, the old man advised his nephew to stop hanging out with children and instead have relationships with wise elders to listen to them and learn through their exchanges. He said, "Then you will be an adult like them, and will soon get used to saying beautiful words following their example." After eating, they stood up and continued walking through many gardens separated by many small ditches as boundaries but still able to pass back and forth. The people in this capital have trust in each other. There is no need to protect them more closely to prevent them harming each other. No one noticed that the wizard had taken Aladdin through faraway gardens, through fields close to the mountains and forests. Aladdin had never traveled so much in his life and felt very tired. He said to the old wizard, "Uncle, where are we going? The gardens are far away and I only see forests and mountains. If I go any further, I Don and number 39, know if I and number 39, still have the strength to return to the city. Be brave, my child. I want to show you a garden much more wonderful than the one you just saw. It and number 39, not far from here, just one more step and when you get there, you 1 and number 39, feel like it was a waste of time." Aladdin was convinced. The wizard even led him a long way, telling him funny stories as he walked to make him feel less sad and less tiring on the road. At last they came between two equally low mountains, in the middle of which was a narrow hill. That is the remarkable place where the wizard wanted to take Aladdin to carry out a plan that took him from the end of Africa to China. The old man said to him, "We will not go any further. I want to show you here unusual things that people do not know, and when you see them, you will thank me for letting you witness these unique wonders. While I and number 39 am preparing, you collect all the branches and leaves around, the driest ones, and put them on fire." Aladdin piled a lot of trash into a big pile. The wizard lit the fire, and while the leaves were burning, he threw in a prepared fragrant powder. A thick plume of smoke rose. He turned from one side to another and muttered spells that Aladdin did not understand. At the same time, the ground there shook. In front of the two people revealed a rock about 1.5 square feet wide and 1 foot thick, flat, with a black bronze ring attached to the middle to help lift the rock. Aladdin was scared when he saw what was happening before his eyes and wanted to run away. Needing to ensure a secret, the old wizard held him back, scolded him and slapped him so hard that he fell to the ground and bit his teeth into his mouth until it bled. The poor boy trembled and cried and said, "Uncle, what have I done? Why did you hit me so hard? I have a reason to fight." The old wizard replied, "I am the uncle, now taking the place of father. You cannot argue back." "But my child," he calmly added, Don and number 39. Be afraid, I Don and number 39. Ask you for anything other than to do exactly as I say if you want to try to achieve and be worthy of the great benefits I do for you. Those sweet promises reassured Aladdin, and when he saw that he was completely calm, he continued to say, "You saw what happened thanks to the scented powder and the spell. Know that now under this rock, there is a treasure reserved for you, who will one day be richer than all the greatest kings in the world. That is true because no one in this world but you is allowed to touch the rock. Lift it up to get inside. Even we are not allowed to touch or go down to the treasure once it has been opened. You must follow each point exactly as I tell you. The work has great results for you and me." Aladdin was extremely surprised at what he saw and what his uncle had just heard about the treasure that would make him happy all his life. Forgetting all about being beaten and scolded, he stood up and said to the wizard, "Come on. Sir, what needs to be done? Give me an order. I and number 39 am ready to obey." "My nephew, I am happy to see you agree," the old man said while hugging and kissing him. "Come closer, take the bracelet and lift up the stone." "But uncle, I Don and number 39 have enough strength to lift it. I have to help you." "No, you Don and number 39 need my help. We won. And number 39. T be able to do anything if I help you. You can lift it alone. Just call your father and number 39's name and your grandfather and number 39's name when you pick up the bracelet. You will find it easy." Aladdin did as the wizard told him, lifted the rock and easily placed it aside. The stone was removed to reveal a small cellar 3 to 4 feet deep, with a door and steps leading down. The old wizard then said to Aladdin, "My nephew, do exactly as I tell you. You go down to the basement. At the last step you will see an open door that takes you to a wide arch divided into 3 large consecutive rooms. In each room you see on the right and left 4 large bronze jars, filled with gold and silver, but do not touch them. Before entering the first room, I lifted my shirt and tied it tightly to my body. Inside, I went straight through the second room without stopping, and from there through the third room without stopping. Be careful not to get too close and touch the walls. If you touch the wall, even if your shirt touches it, you will die immediately. At the end of the third room there is a door that opens to a beautiful garden full of fruit. Just go straight through the garden along the path leading to the 50-step staircase leading up to a dune. On the dune I saw a hole, and in the hole was a lighted lamp. I took the lamp, turned it off, threw away the lamp, poured out the water, put the lamp in my lap and gave it to you. Dawn and number 39. T be afraid of ruining your clothes because the water is not oil, and when there is no more water, the lamp will be dry. If you like fruit, you can pick as much as you like, it and number 39's not forbidden. Having said that, the old wizard pulled out the ring from his finger and put it on one of Aladdin and number 39's fingers, saying it was to prevent anything bad that might happen, and told him to remember his words. Then he said, "Go, my nephew, step down boldly, we are about to be rich for life." Aladdin gently jumped into the cellar, went down to the bottom step, entered the door and saw 3 rooms as the uncle described, and he carefully walked through the rooms and through the garden without stopping. He climbed up the dune and picked up the lamp. Burning in the hole, he threw out the water in the lamp, saw that it was dry as the wizard had said, so he wrapped it in his arms. He got down from the dune and stood in the garden to look at the fruits he saw as he passed by. The trees in the garden are full of unusual fruit, each tree bearing fruit of a different color. There are white fruits, shiny and transparent like glass, red, blue, purple, yellowish fruits and many other colors. The white fruits are jade, the sparkling and transparent are diamonds, the red are rubies, the green are jade, etc. Those fruits are so large and perfect that people have never seen them in this world. Aladdin did not know the value of these fruits, was not moved by them, and did not like them as much as figs, grapes, and other delicious fruits popular in China. He figured these were just colored glass balls, not worth much more. However, the diverse colors, each unusually beautiful and large fruit, made him want to pick all kinds of fruits to fill the 2 pockets of the new shirt and 2 cloth bags the witch bought for him. When the shirt was inflated, he tied it on both sides of the waist, folded it into the waist fold and did not forget to tuck it into his stomach, between the shirt and the shirt wrapped around his body. Aladdin didn't and #39 know how much wealth he had brought, so he quickly returned to the road so that his uncle wouldn't and #39 have to wait too long. After going through 3 rooms carefully like last time, he walked up to the entrance to the cellar where the wizard was eagerly waiting. Seeing the old man, he said, "Uncle, please raise your hand to pull up the bowl." The old wizard said, "My dear, give me the lamp first so it 1 and number 39, T get stuck." "Sorry, it 1 and number 39, T bother me, I and number 39, LL take it to where it is." The old wizard insisted that Aladdin give him the lamp before pulling him up, and Aladdin, entangled with the lamp and the fruits he carried all over his body, refused to give him the lamp before getting out of the cellar. Disappointed by the young man and number 39's resistance, the old wizard became mad with anger, threw some fragrant powder into the fire, and after reciting a few spells, the stone moved back to its original place and closed the cellar door, again covered with soil like a rock. Before he and Aladdin arrived. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.